What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I, of course, am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I'll be real with you guys. I'm ready to jump through that wall. It's game week. That's right. Philadelphia Eagles football will be back this Sunday, and I cannot stress enough how much I cannot wait for Eagles football. So, we've been trying to get through these past couple months, trying to just weigh the storm, dude. It's been a wild offseason. I'm going to be real with you, but I'm pumped up because we got through it. And I think, we're all in for a happy treat. I think this is going to go down a lot better than most people think. So excited to talk about it. And well, with it being game week, we're going to get into our first opponent of the year. That's the Atlanta Falcons, baby. So let's go behind enemy lines tonight. Let's take a look at the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to talk a little bit about their team, what they looked like last year, what they've done, the changes, the people they've lost, all that great stuff, their draft. We're going to go through it all. We're going to get to know the opponent. So I thank you guys for taking the time on this beautiful Monday night. Hope you're starting your weeks off right. But if you have any questions, any comments, you're watching this later, you want to leave a comment, please feel free. I will always try to get back to you guys. Already got some comments in the building. My man, Big Play Slay, how are you doing tonight? Hopefully you're having a great start to your weekend or weekday. Sorry, I've literally been so ready for this week. I really can't stress enough how excited I am. And I think we definitely can beat the Atlanta Falcons, but we're going to break it down and we're going to take a look at how I think we can do that. What is going on, Nina? Hope you're having yourself a great Monday night. Nice to see the chat all conversing as well. If you guys have any thoughts on this, please feel free to, whatever you want, whether you want to talk about the Eagles too, you guys can throw whatever you want my way. But before we actually get into that, let's take a little gander at the captains for the Philadelphia Eagles this season. Jalen Hurts named a captain. I love to see it. Then you got Jason Kelsey there. That makes sense. You got Brandon Graham. You've got Fletcher Cox, Rodney McLeod, and then Alex Singleton. Love to see it. Very excited about those guys leading the way. Let the players vote on that. Nick Sirianni, dude, I think he's doing all the right things here, and I think that we are going to be in for a nice surprise. And Dallas Goedert, they talked to a few of the players today. He had something to say that I really liked. We have a lot of people looking at us like we aren't going to be that great. We have a totally different mindset in the building. That's what I like to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't care about what the media or anybody else says because we know what this team is building. We know what they look like. My man, John, in the building. Dude, love to see you here. Glad you're catching it in the beginning because I know you've missed a couple at the end there, but we're going to get into this and we're going to talk about, we're going to take it week by week. We have no idea each week what this team is going to look like. We hope that we avoid injuries. We know that's been a big name of our game. Even when we won the Super Bowl, we had an assload of injuries. So there's just always a possibility of that happening. But we're going to go through week by week. We'll talk about our opponents. We'll talk about ourselves. And obviously, we'll get a better idea of these teams as the season goes on. But for this first team, we're going to just take a look at all the information we pretty much got. So, you were surprised Slay wasn't chosen? Well, I don't know who I would choose him over. You've got someone in the secondary there, Rodney McLeod. And I think Fletch and BG there, just dominant forces on that defensive line. Alex Singleton, help on special teams and, big help on the linebacking core now. So I like them. And I guess the players are the ones that voted. So I guess the players didn't think. I know Darius is a funny guy, a happy-go-lucky guy, but I'm not so sure that he's so vocal where he's a leader. So not to knock Darius Slay or anything like that, but just saying those other guys, obviously the players felt were a little bit more. So love to see it and love to see the attitude from Dallas Goedert. Everybody else going into this season, we know that people are sleeping. That's perfectly fine because we know exactly we have to stay healthy. If this offensive line stays healthy, they're one of the best in the league, if not the. Then, obviously relying on Jalen Hurts where 4-game sample size. Oh, he didn't do good. But, dude, he had no preseason. His first game, he beat the New Orleans Saints, who were the top defense at the time. It was pretty ridiculous. And he's done nothing but try to get better, working with Quincy Avery, working at the Bro Barn. I mean, this dude with Gabe Rangle, I mean, the chef, Justin Massey, he making sure his diet's right, making sure his play is right. I mean, this dude is doing everything and then some. I mean, I brought on as many people as I can to try to give you guys a more in-depth look at what his life is like. And each person we've talked to, his chef, his trainer, all those people just relay the message that this guy is like a cyborg. He's not real. He's up while some people are going to bed, and he's ready to ride, dude. And he's just watching everything he does. And when you hear these people talk about him, it just makes me want to jump through a wall, because I really feel like this is exactly what we needed in Philadelphia, man. This guy is a leader. And obviously it's, oh, that's great, his attitude and everything. You need to see it on the field. Dude, he's pretty fun to watch. And I don't understand. Well, I do understand he's a Philadelphia Eagle, but if he were anybody else in the NFL, a dual threat quarterback, oh, everybody would be losing. I mean, look at Lamar Jackson. This dude has not been able to throw the ball for years, and they're still, well, you know, he's working on it. And when he does, it's like, oh, okay, this dude, Jalen Hurts, hasn't even gotten an opportunity. He was thrown into the fire on a team where the people still holding on to Carson Wentz. It's like, well, your boy, he sucked. What did you expect anyone else to do? Well, Jalen Hurts came in and won the game. I did not expect that. Well, we talked about that new quarterback energy. Shout out to Evan with that, dude. And look, it was the excitement, what they were bringing. Well, that dude's our quarterback now, and he is bringing that excitement to this offense. The defense is excited. The coaches, the new coaching staff, we changed the things that we needed to, and a lot of people still holding on to that grim outlook, and I'm here to try to sway you a different way. Eagles are +3, easy money. You're damn right. I'm going to go ahead and make myself an alternate spread. Dude, I think we're going to whoop that ass. We could definitely win this game, maybe by a touchdown. I'll go with. I won't get too far ahead of myself, but these guys have a decent offense, and they have a defense that was atrocious last year. And hey, we're going to talk about it. Let's just jump right into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go behind enemy lines with the Atlanta Falcons. And we're going to start it off here, and we'll talk about some of the people that the Atlanta Falcons actually lost. And we all know Julio Jones was traded. That's obviously the major one there. But beyond that, you've got guys like Ricardo Allen went to the Bengals, Charles Harris to the Lions, and they lost Monte Kazee and Keanu Neal to the Dallas Cowboys. That's an upgrade, obviously, for the Cowboys, but that sucks for the Falcons. Alex Mack pulled a fast one on him and then went to the Niners. You got Justin McCray leaving, and also Brandon Powell and Leroy Reynolds, who had a stop with the Philadelphia Eagles. But they definitely lost some key names there. But, I mean, not guys that are jumping off the page at you, but once again, these guys weren't that great. Todd Gurley not re-signed, Brian Hill, Laquan Treadwell, some of these guys that are still out there for them, Bleedy Ray Wilson, Darqueze Dennard. So I think that you know that there are some guys still out there available. But for them, you know, they did add some players where they had lost. Josh Andrews, we all remember Josh Andrews, I hope. But yeah, he's already hurt. So he went to the IR. I think he's done for. So that sucks for them. He will not be starting as they had presumed. Jonathan Bullard brought him in from the Seahawks. He can move around the line. He can actually play the 5 technique. They play 3-4, but he can move around. We'll see what they do with them. Brandon Copeland from the Jets. He's also a versatile guy, can play some edge and also inside linebacker in that 3-4. Mike Davis, we know, brought in the running back from the Panthers. We'll see what he can do as the lead back. Brought in some safety help, as they did lose a couple, as we just mentioned. Daron Harmon and Eric Harris brought in. You guys might remember Daron Harmon from his time with the Patriots, but his last team was the Lions. Fabian Moreau, we all know him from the Washington football team, getting his chance to go to the Falcons, possibly start there. And then Cordero Patterson from the Bears, we all know, quite the return man. Then they traded for Lee Smith, tight end from the Buffalo Bills. So they did make some additions in free agency. Yeah, stop Ridley. That's going to be the name of the game. But as you can see here, next is the draft picks that they added. Now, we all know who they added, Kyle Pitts. So you don't just have to stop Calvin Ridley. You got to stop Kyle Pitts as well. We know that we have struggled with the tight ends, but Jim Schwartz is gone. We're going to see this completely different, revamped defense and see how we deal with that. They added Richie Grant. That's a great pick at pick 40, man. They really needed a safety, so that's a nice addition for them. Jalen Mayfield from Michigan, we talked about him before the draft. That could be somebody starting for them just because of the injury to Josh Andrews. Talked about him before the draft, how he would probably see himself more as a guard in the NFL, and that looks like what the Falcons are trying to do with him. Darren Hall in the 4th round, Taquan Graham. Adetokunbo Ogundeji from Notre Dame. He's actually a stud. That was a nice pick in the 5th round for them. Really like that kid. He could definitely get some playing time if Dante Fowler doesn't step it up. Avery Williams, the return specialist after they just signed Cordero Patterson. So they are trying to get back to their primetime days. So Frank Darby, last pick. We talked about him before the draft as well. So trying to replace Julio there at the end, I guess. But we talked about that, how they fell apart with the whole Julio thing there. But then re-signing Matt Ryan, whatever, dude. I think it was, he has a $26 million cap hit this year, but they just moved all the money in. It's like a $50 million cap hit next year and then like 40 some the next. So not so sure how long he's going to stick in Atlanta, but they went with Kyle Pitts with their 4th pick instead of some of those quarterbacks. So we'll see. Yeah, you can't forget about him, man. He is quite a stud. Do we have an answer? We're going to talk about that here in a second, but yeah, there's not much of answers for someone like that. But yeah, dude, this defense, we're going to need these linebackers to step it up, and we're going to probably play a lot of zone when it comes to certain things with Pitts. A lot of guys are going to have to keep their eyes on Kyle Pitts, get some safety help there because this dude's good, real damn good. Jacoby Stevens, he was somebody that did well in college, but he's on the practice squad, so not sure. Davian Taylor still banged up. Don't know. Now, they did add a new coach as well. This is not the same, team we're dealing with here. We got Arthur Smith. He was the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, if you guys remember the last few years, and he's been with Tennessee since like 2011. They got Dave Ragone in there, somebody that actually spent some time with the Bears. He was their he's the offensive coordinator now. He was a quarterback guru there. And he was with Arthur Smith in Tennessee a few years ago, so some familiarity there. And then Dean Pease, the defensive coordinator. Well, you guys might remember him. He was with the Patriots from 06 to 09. They beat us in the Super Bowl. Anyways, he spent time at Notre Dame, Michigan State, Navy. He's been with the Ravens and also with the Titans, so familiarity there. He was the guy that retired, came out of retirement, came back for Mike Vrabel. Retired again in 2020, and now Arthur Smith got him back out. So he just loves the game, from what he says. And then Marquise Williams, somebody that helped Jamal Agnew over there with Detroit. So he spent the last couple of years as an assistant on special teams. So they revamped their coaching staff as well. So we're not the only team going into this with all new coaches. So for a team, especially this guy comes from, pounding the rock. Obviously, Mike Davis. He can, but never seen him take on the full load necessarily, obviously, with McCaffrey getting hurt, thrown in the fire. But he's the guy. So we're going to see how he handles it. I'm sure they're going to try to pound the rock, and you lose Julio, but you still got Calvin Ridley. You added Pitt. So not too bad there. Now, looking at these offensive ranks, a lot of people want to look at numbers, things like that. I mean, let's be real here. We just talked about the fact that you don't have Julio Jones. You just completely changed, what kind of team you're going to be, but we'll look at it anyway. Last year, not so great running the ball, which is something they're going to try to do. So we'll see how that line hangs in there. We'll see if they can get out of 20th place with not even 100 yards per game. With passing, they were 272.7 yards per game, which was 5th in the league. So they've got a potent passing attack, something we do know, but Julio Jones was sidelined, but I'll be real with you. Calvin Ridley proved that he could get the job done as the number one guy. When you're looking at the total yards, they were 15th, right in the middle of the pack, 368.4 yards per game. Then points, they were 24.8 points per game, 16th in the league. So you talk about that. We know that they can pass the ball. We know Matt Ryan likes to throw the ball, but with Arthur Smith here, I'm very intrigued to see how this team is going to look. And I think, hopefully this will fluster Matt Ryan a little bit, different game plan, but it might actually help Matt Ryan running the ball more. So he's getting up there in age. Speaking of Matt Ryan, I mean, that's the quarterback. They had A.J. McCarron there, and he tore his ACL, something like that. So they brought in good old Josh Rosen. And Felipe Franks, we had to talk about him a little bit before the draft. An intriguing kid there. Somebody that obviously they have as backup now. Matt Schaub retired, so that door is open for Rosen or Franks. We'll see. Hopefully, I don't ever want to see anybody get hurt, but yep, those guys definitely have an opportunity. Rosen just never gets an opportunity, though. So Feel bad for the guy, but yeah, best of luck to you. Now, we all know Matty Ice, the hometown kid. Yeah, don't care. Beat his ass. I loved being at that playoff game where they lost and we were on our way to, the Super Bowl. So, Matt Ryan, we're going to whoop that ass when I come into that dome. And I can't wait to see this effing defensive line just feast, man, because we talk about we could have the best defensive line in the game. If these guys stay healthy, I really think that they are going to be dominant. And that's not to say Atlanta Falcons don't have a good offensive line, though. Jake Matthews is a pretty decent left tackle. We just talked about Jalen Mayfield, their draft pick, getting thrown in the fire now because of Josh Andrews' injury. Alex Mack, we talked about, left the Falcons. So Matt Hennessy possibly sliding in there. Drew Dahlman, they had drafted, so maybe he gets thrown in there at some point. I know that, he's somebody that was highly touted. I think they got him in the 4th round out of Stanford. So Mayfield, a 3rd rounder. So we'll see if some of these draft picks of theirs get some time. I did hear that their official depth chart will be coming out tomorrow. So we'll see who's actually the starters. But this is all the information I gathered, and this is what we're going with. We know Lindstrom and McGarry, high draft picks of theirs the last couple years, 1st rounders. So we shall see if they can stay healthy. But if they do, this offensive line is pretty good in the passing game, not necessarily the best in the run game. So I think for me, I still think that we have a better defensive line than they have an offensive line. So you're looking at Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett, Ryan Kerrigan, and Teron Jackson as your rotation of ends. And then in the middle, Cox, Hargrave, Milton Williams. Oh, my Lord, yes. Ridgeway was just brought back. Marlon Tuipulotu, I doubt sees any time week 1. But these guys are going to feast on this offensive line. So put whoever the hell you want in there. This D-line is going to dominate. I think that we have their number, and I think that we are going to dominate, and we'll get a few sacks on Matt Ryan. Now, we talk about the fact that they want to establish the run. Arthur Smith's just going to want to do that. That's just the way it is. But let's be real here. Mike Davis, we have no idea if he can truly handle being a number 1. They just added Wayne Gallman. That was just literally not too long ago. Keith Smith is their fullback. And then you got Cordero Patterson, who is a running back / wide receiver. So we'll see how exactly that works out for them. But I'm not seeing the greatest of seasons for the Falcons as I was looking at a lot of things. I think they'll have some exciting plays. You got Kyle Pitts. So, I mean, that's pretty exciting in itself. But they're going to want to try to establish a run. It's all going to rely on Mike Davis. We all know he's been a journeyman for quite a while here. And, when you're looking at, is Wayne Gallman, we all know he was with the Giants. I really just don't think that's too enticing to me. But, they let Todd Gurley walk. Mike Davis, this is his 6th year. Last year, he only had like 642 yards, 6 touchdowns, but he did have 373 yards receiving and 2 reception touchdowns. But he's never really been able to be that guy with the 49ers, Seahawks, Bears, and then last year with the Panthers. But hey, he's got a shot here with a team that's going to want to run the ball. So we'll see how it works out for him. Now, they are going to want to pass too because they do have weapons, and well, that's just what they're good at. So we talk about Julio leaving. Obviously, that's huge. He's getting up there in age, but still a great player, a veteran leader. But, dude, Calvin Ridley, while Julio was out that second half of the year, he was balling. Last year, he had 1,374 yards, 9 touchdowns, 15.3 yards per catch. Holy hell. And Russell Gage had himself a pretty decent season, too, 786 yards and 4 touchdowns. Then you're looking at Zacchaeus, Christian Blake, Sharp, and Darby down there that we just talked about. And that was their 6th round pick that we had mentioned. I really think that, they've got some promise there. But beyond Calvin Ridley, Darius Slay is going to have to try to hold it down there. Steven Nelson with Gage. And Russell Gage predominantly was playing in the slot. I think, they're going to try to move him outside because of what I'm going to talk about next. But, I think that they're still decent. They could give our corners a little bit of trouble. We'll see if Rodney McLeod's ready, have some safety help back there. But I think we could hold Calvin Ridley a little bit, but he's definitely going to have his fair share. If I had him for fantasy, I would play him. I'll be real with you. But I think we can contain him just because of the fact that they may become one-dimensional. We'll see here. You do have Kyle Pitts, so let's get into that. This is where their bread and butter is. last year the Titans ran 12 personnel more than anybody. So you have Kyle Pitts. That dude is a stud. You traded for Lee Smith, a blocking tight end. Then you still have Hayden Hurst. So I think that's pretty damn good. That room right there in itself, running 12 personnel more than anyone in the league. They're going to be running it again here in Atlanta. Arthur Smith, that's going to be what he does. You don't know if the team's going to run the ball. You don't know if they're passing it to one of these guys that's essentially a receiver. Both of them great at receiving. So that's going to be where we find ourselves an issue. Our linebackers. Let's throw up the picture of our linebackers. So these are the guys we're going to be depending on to cover Kyle Pitts or Hayden Hurst. So we've got 7 of them on our roster. Talking about Alex Singleton, love him, but he's definitely got to work on that coverage. Eric Wilson, he can cover, but not the greatest. Patrick Johnson, that's more of your Sam linebacker, stand-up rusher that can drop in coverage. Don't want him covering Kyle Pitts. TJ Edwards, no. Sean Bradley, no. Jannard Avery, that's essentially the same role as Patrick Johnson. So no. So Davian Taylor, man, I would really just hope he didn't get placed on IR. And I know that his injury was week to week and then it became day to day. I'm just hoping that he's okay. And even then, I'm not so sure he's covering Kyle Pitts. So a lot of zone, some corners definitely keeping their eye on these guys. Maybe you have Darius Slay. I mean, I don't know how you want to do this, but it's going to be very intriguing to see. Maybe some of that. We talked about hoping that Kayvon Wallace, they have been working on his coverage skills, somebody that's more of a strong safety, but he can move up and actually cover some of these running backs, tight ends. That might be somebody you need to rely on, but once again, not so comfortable about that matchup. So that's clearly going to be where they're going to try to attack us, and they can open that up with Calvin Ridley. So this isn't going to just be a walk in the park. I've seen a lot of people saying it like that. And look, I'm excited about this team, but don't sleep on the Falcons. Slay's going to have to cover Ridley one-on-one. Yeah, man, we're going to have to play a lot of zone, do a lot of things. Don't know if I'll put him one-on-one with them, but yeah, I'm going to attack the quarterback a lot, and I'm not going to give them much time to get these guys open. Ryan will be doing a lot of 3-step drops. Yep, exactly. And that's how they're going to have to try to counteract that, and that's something that a lot of teams did against us. But this is not Jim Schwartz. This is Jonathan Gannon, and I'm really excited to see what kind of defense he actually brings to the table. And let's go, baby. Get after that QB. Watch out for those quick slants. And that's why we talk about having that stand-up rusher. Guy coming on the line of scrimmage. He's coming after you. He's dropping back in coverage. Guys, get your hands up. Pat the ball down. Don't be letting this BS come by you. So I'm ready to see what this defense looks like. But you're going to have to bring a special kind of defense to try to stop Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley. And that's going to all begin with, shutting down the run, making them one-dimensional, and then you could try to do more of that stuff. But this is going to be, in my eyes, more of a shootout. So we're going to have to just put up more points. There's your John Madden quote for the day. You got to put up more points to win the game. Yeah, obviously. But I just feel that we're a team that can do that, and we're going to get into their defense in a second here, and I'll tell you why. But I'm just excited about this entire team of ours, and seeing a team like this that's got a new coaching staff and all that, it gives me some hope that, we could definitely walk out of here with a win. Ryan will be doing a lot of 3-step. Yep. Sorry, I got to that one. What's going on, my man Malcolm in the building? Hope all is well, my dude. Hope you should be done school now, so that's awesome. Hope all is going well there. Hope you're all having a great Monday. We're just going through the old Falcons, getting to know who our opponent is. We're behind enemy lines, ladies and gentlemen. So we got through the offense there. Now let's take a look at their defensive ranks. And we just talked about the players they lost, and Kazee and Neal and Ricardo Allen. So they definitely lost some players, and they were already struggling, but they did add some guys. We talked about Richie Grant, things like that. But we'll get into the actual positions in a second. But as you can see here, they weren't too bad against the run, but I think teams were just passing on them all the time because they suck so much. But 104.8 yards per game they're giving up, which was good for 7th. But they were the worst team in the league when it came against the pass. And they lost a lot of those players, but that's probably fine for them because the team sucked. But 293.6 yards per game. Then they were giving up 398.4 yards per game, which is 28th in the NFL. And then they were giving up 25.9 points per game, which is 19th in the NFL. So not the greatest of defenses, but they got a stout interior line. We're going to talk about that in a second. But Yeah, I think this is where we win the game. Our offense needs a game like this, kind of these guys are in the NFL, so I'm not going to sit here and say they suck, but it's not one of the best defenses in the NFL. So I am excited for our offensive line. I think we can hold these guys. I think we can establish that run, allow the play action RPOs to develop, allow Jalen Hurts to do what he can to succeed. So let's take a look at this defense here, and we'll start in the trenches. Now we're dealing with a 3-4 kind of line, so let's start with that interior. Grady Jarrett is a monster. And I mean, that's somebody that you do have to worry about. That's why they're actually pretty damn good against the run because, well, Grady Jarrett is a monster. He had like 300 tackles, 17 and a half sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 53 quarterbacks hits in the last 3 years with the Falcons. He's a beast, and I'm sure that Pease is going to find a way to let him dominate. And you see Tyler Davis in there, their nose tackle, a little bit of a smaller nose tackle, but they brought in Bullard, Marlon Davidson. These are some guys that they're going to try to rotate at that defensive end. So 3 of these guys are going to be their line. And then when you go to the outside, you're looking at outside linebacker, but that's essentially like their defense. It's the edge rushers here. So we're going to look at the outside linebackers here. They brought Dante Fowler back. He was a complete bust for them last season, but brought him back anyway. He had like 23 tackles, 8 quarterback hits, 3 sacks. So not so great for them. And then, they've got, who was it? Barkevius Mingo's gone. So they're rolling with Jacob Tuioti Mariner. Sure. And he's going to try to fill in that spot. Whereas Stephen Means, if you guys remember, preseason favorite, he's over there, dude. He could take that starting job from him. And then we talked about Editakumbo Ogundeji from Notre Dame. He is also someone that could be pushing for that edge rusher job. So also Brandon Copeland there. We talked about him, a versatile guy that can play edge rusher and also inside linebacker. So got some guys to move around. They are adjusting, feeling their team out just as much as we are. But that 5th rounder, Ogundeji, I'm telling you, he could definitely find himself on the field sooner rather than later. But gotta love Stephen Means, man. He's actually kicking some ass out there. So maybe he finds himself some, playing time. Oh, yeah, dude. Sunday cannot get here any sooner. I can't believe that we're literally talking about our opponent this week. Yeah, this week. Our opponent this week, this Sunday. My God. Yes, yes, yes. And, let's be real here. Our offensive line, if they stay healthy, come get some, baby. I don't think that, we have to worry about too much. Like I said, unless Fowler found something under his ass, I really just don't think, this team is going to be a defensive problem too much. But we got to limit the mistakes. You could kill yourself. You shoot yourself in the foot here. So let's not do that, ladies and gentlemen. I just really hope that this team comes in, and they have some accountability too. That's another thing, when they do make mistakes, hold each other accountable. Don't put your head down and accept defeat, man. Come back swinging. Can't take last year's team, man. That was too much for me. Way too much for me. What is going on, Gold Glover? Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're having a great Monday night. We're just going through behind enemy lines right now, taking a gander at the Atlanta Falcons. We went through their offense. We're talking about, they could definitely put some points up on the Eagles. It's going to be on the Eagles offense to have to just try to put up more because I'm not so sure, what this defense is going to look like. I talk about the excitement I have that, there's going to be multiple schemes, multiple fronts. I feel like we're going to blitz a lot more than Jim Schwartz did. So there's excitement there, but there's also a huge question mark. So I have no idea what it's going to look like. And I do know Calvin Ridley's still damn good. They have Kyle Pitts. Matt Ryan's still good. Mike Davis is very serviceable. So we'll see what happens there. And they've got a damn good offensive line. So they could give our defense problems. It's a good challenge to have week 1. Let you see where you're at. Then you got the Niners next week who don't have the greatest of offenses. They got some damn good young receivers, but not sure where they're going to be at with quarterback. I'd rather see Jimmy G than I would Trey Lance. But that defense, still got a pretty good defense, but they lost Robert Saleh. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's week 2. We'll say that for next week. But right now, we're going to get into now the inside linebackers, which part of this 3-4, they've got 2 of these guys starting on the inside. Deion Jones, we all know. He is one of the better inside linebackers, dealt with an injury a couple years ago, so maybe brought him down a little bit, but he's still very, very good. They used him a little bit more last year as a rusher. He had a couple sacks. Trying to remember 4.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, 106 tackles, second for tackles on the team. And then the guy next to him was a leader. And that's probably the most slept on linebacker in the game right now. Oluwokun is literally a monster tackling machine. And I think, he had 3 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, and 2 interceptions last year. So he's another one. They've actually got some pretty decent inside linebackers. And I believe second rounder, Michael Walker, a year ago. That is somebody that they like too. So we'll see if those guys get any snaps. But I think they've got decent inside linebackers. So I know Hurts wants to go after Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert right away all the time. So, hey, I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. But you got to watch yourself here, dude, because Deion Jones or Foy Okanuk, yeah, he will literally get that ball. Both of them will ball hawk you, dude. So be careful. But you've got running backs like Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell. You've got receivers like Devontae Smith, Jalen Reagor. So there's other options, man. Other options. Love football? Hell, well, you found the right place because I'm here every single day talking birds. But always welcome to talk about whatever is on your mind. A lot of other fans jump in here, let me know how they're feeling about their team or want me to let them know how I feel. I give you as much as I possibly can on your teams, but if it's Eagles, well, then I'll be able to help you out. My man Christian in the building. Appreciate you guys taking the time this Monday night. Didn't know you guys wanted to get behind enemy lines with me. But hey, show me my opponent. I'm ready, dude. I'm ready for the Atlanta Falcons. Well, you've missed a good chunk. We talked about the Atlanta Falcons offense going to be a tough test for the Eagles defense, but I think that this offense can put a smackdown on that defense. So we're midway through the defense here. Do a football show myself. I will have to give that a gander there, Gold Glover. If you use Twitter, check me out at On the Road to Victory, as you can see next to my name down here. Give me a follow and I will happily follow you, or you can check me out on the Road to Victory on YouTube with Jimmy Smith. And subscribe and I'll happily subscribe back, man. I'll definitely check your show out. Just had my fantasy draft at the link. That was intense. And now I've got my last one coming up here Wednesday. Dear Lord, I can't wait for fantasy football. I can't wait for all football. I just can't wait for football, period. So we talked about the linebackers. Got to be careful there. Now the cornerbacks. Now, not to say that, we talked about they were like the worst, when it came to the pass last year. But let's be real here. AJ Terrell was nice, man. One of the top rookies that I saw last year. 74 tackles, 3 forced fumbles, 7 pass deflections, and he plays for a terrible team. So I think that he's somebody that is definitely going to keep improving and is going to be very nice for them. We talked about Fabian Moreau getting added from Washington. Kendall Sheffield was for them last year as a starter, super fast. Thought he was going to be something special, but didn't see anything special myself. Maybe Falcons fans saw something I didn't, but that's why Fabian Moreau is up there. Isaiah Oliver's more of their slot guy. Then we talked about Darren Hall and Avery Williams both getting drafted back-to-back picks there. So Avery Williams, more of your returner. But these corners, this is something that we're talking about. You got Deion Jones, you got Foy, Owen, Ertz, and Goddard. I think that Devontae Smith, Jalen Reagor, Quez Watkins, Greg Ward, these guys are going to be able to feast. I don't care how much I just said about how good AJ Terrell was. Devontae Smith is better. So best of luck to you, young man. We'll see how they want to come out and try to attack us. But Devontae Smith, I've got him playing in my fantasy league. Week 1, it's on, baby. I don't have Kenny Gainwell playing or Ertz, but I got both those bad boys too. It wasn't a smart pick. People trying to tell me I've got a deep-ass league. We play with defensive players, 2 flex positions. So a lot of names you wouldn't think usually go. But I loved Kenny Gainwell. I thought that was a good pick. And Ertz. So hey, we'll see how this season actually plays out. But I got a few birds on my team, the real birds, that is. Now, the safety position, this is something where we just talked about. They lost Kazee. They lost Keanu Neal. And they added a couple guys in free agency and the draft. Now, right now, they have Eric Harris and Duron Harmon starting. But we talked about Richie Grant. And somebody we talked about before the draft, that dude will be starting for them. But, you lose Ricardo Allen as well. I forgot. But, dude, you lose those kind of guys. You got to try to replace them. Harris, he was with the CFL for a couple of years. Then he was on the Saints. You guys probably remember him with the Raiders for the last few years. But he's started 30 games. And then Duron Harmon, he's somebody that's had 45 starts. He played with the Patriots. And then we just talked about, he's last year with the Lions. But I think that obviously this is somewhere you can attack them, man. I think you got to go deep. I mean, we're going to hit them all over the place, but we talk about establishing the run, establishing those bubble screens, the mesh concepts, all the things that I think, we're missing out on. And then you hit them deep. I mean, dude, this safety room is not something I'm worried about. I like Richie Grant a lot. I think they should give him the start, but I'm not them. So I have no idea if they're going to, but right now that's how they had him. So that's how I put it. But Richie Grant to me is much better than both those guys. So we'll see exactly what happens. But I think Pitts will be contained and will go to Ryan. Well, that's what we talked about, Christian. You got to attack, and they're going to try those quick release throws, man, 3-step drops, because obviously we're going to be gunning for them. They've got a good offensive line. They've got good receivers. So it's going to be tough, but we'll probably see a lot of certain zone blitzes that I think are really going to benefit us. And hey, I've got my ideas how we stop Pitts, and we talked about it. I wish Davian Taylor would be ready, but I'm not sure if he is. Kayvon Wallace would be another option there. But beyond that, you've got Eric Wilson trying to cover him. That's not going to go well at all. So you got to have some kind of zone where, dude, they're going to attack us with Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts. And don't think that Gage can't do stuff to you or Zacharias. I really think that all these guys, it's going to be a tough task for us. I think they're going to put up some points. I'm not going to lie to you. I really think they will. We don't play Washington week 1. It's Atlanta. Yeah, how about it? Yeah, hey, it seems like a lot of those things. Battle of the unknown coordinators. No, man. I definitely know who Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon are, and I am ecstatic about them. But I'll be real with you. Ragone and Pease, I believe their names are. Yeah, they're just guys that were there in Tennessee with Arthur Smith. So, yeah, they're not going to be household names to most people, but I mean, that's kind of how it works. When we talked about when Nick Sirianni was hired, Jonathan Gannon was a name we brought up. Shane Steichen, a name we brought up, because these are guys that are familiar with them. So excited as hell that we're part of this new changing of the guard in the NFL with these smarter guys, these guys that know what's going on, have actually played the game. I love that. And, bright minds. And you can see a lot of people are really scared of this coaching staff because whenever they talk about football, and people are like, I don't know what's happening. It's like, yes. Yeah. People are Sirianni's beard and his yard. It was just like, dude, I care about winning on Sundays. And that is all that matters to me. So, yeah, a lot of people are going to get to know who these coaches are. If you guys are interested in getting to know, if you guys don't know who any of these coaches are or don't know what's going on with the Eagles or anything like that, check out all of the videos. There's a video every single day going through, getting to know the coaches, getting to know every single position. So you don't have to go into this season saying, who? Because it's nothing more embarrassing than seeing people ask that throughout the season. It's like, man, you got to be able to know your own team, dude. That's got to be at least part of being a fan, right? I don't understand it. But here at On the Road to Victory, we keep you up to date with every little thing that's happening. So you don't have to stress anymore. Don't have to worry about clickbait, hot takes. Come here and actually talk some football. So we're going to get to know all these guys. And this is going to be fun because we get to see these young coaches grow in the NFL. We get to see these young players. And we got to hope that it is in the positive direction. We have no idea. They could suck. Yeah. That's why we talk about tempering the expectations, right? Let's just go into this season excited. Be excited for the what if. What could this team be? And they're all very smart young men that, dude, got the jobs for a reason. And I think people are really going to be changing their tunes not too far into the future. Did I see players like Wallace or Maddox covering? Yeah, I was just talking about Kayvon. Dude, if you put Maddox on there, you're asking to die. That would be the most horrible thing you could ever do. What is going on, my man Bird Gang in the building? We are just going through behind enemy lines, talking about the Atlanta Falcons. Might be the first year we won right. Hey, Phil's got it. Phil's got it. He knows we're finally going to use Jalen Reagor correctly. Oh, don't worry. Devontae Smith will get some too. Everybody's going to get some. You'll even see our tight ends getting some. Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell. People are going to be moving in motion. We talk about how much fun this offense is going to be. We're actually going to accentuate players to their skill sets. Holy shit. You feel like every coach should do that, but our last coach didn't do any of that. So here we are sitting, being excited that we're actually going to use our players how they should be. Maybe that's why you don't have a job, Doug. Regardless, I love the guy. Don't want to slander him too much, but I'm ready for Nick Sirianni, ready to see him use these pieces correctly. What's going on, my man, Coach Dante? Hope you guys are all having a great Monday. If you missed any, please go back, check it out. We just got through the offense and the defense. So we're finishing up here. Don't worry, we ain't done yet. Don't leave any stone unturned. So let's hit the special teams up. One of the best kickers in the game, Young-Ho Koo. He will be needed and probably be draining some field goals this Sunday. So let's see how this special teams look. I would love to see a special teams unit that actually gets some blocks, creates turnovers. You remember the year we won the Super Bowl when we used to dominate? You would see Maragos back there whooping that ass. Yeah, well, I'd like to get that back. So please, Philadelphia Eagles, let's not see too much of Young-Ho Koo. Then you got Cameron Nizialik and Josh Harris there. That's fantastic. Don't care. Now, on to the return man. This is something we talked about. Cordero Patterson getting added in free agency. We all know he's one of the best, and he's still got those wheels. Then they go ahead and draft Avery Williams, who is holding down the punt returner position right now. So got themselves two studs in the return game. We talk about how important all three facets of the game are. Well, this is going to be a game where you're going to find out. They've got a great kicker. They've got great return specialists. So this whole damn team, all of it, the depth, everybody, even the two guys that get brought up from practice squad, if we do that on game day, everybody's going to have to bring it, baby. Let's go. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Behind the Enemy Lines with the Atlanta Falcons. So that's everything you need to know about their roster, their coaching staff, all that great stuff. Now, throughout the week, we're going to be doing more to break this stuff down. We're going to be talking about some of the key matchups, some certain things, be doing some fun stuff with you guys. But regardless, we're just going to be getting ready for football, Eagles football on Sunday. Yes. Oh, my God, yes. Yes. It's back. It's back. And I hope I can survive until Sunday, because I feel like every time I wake up, I'm like, one more day closer. I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack every day, because I don't know why, but this just feels like the most I feel like this is every year, though. Like, this is the most excited I've ever been. But we're just so damn excited for our Eagles to be back. It is just a special feeling. It truly is. So that feeling, hopefully they don't just tear it out, because we got a lot of that last year in a 4-11-1 season. But we got 17 games now, 18 weeks. Hopefully we get some extra weeks in those playoffs, can maybe win that NFC East division. It's going to be a battle to the death, but we begin this Sunday, 1 o'clock with the Atlanta Falcons in the Georgia Dome. So, Eagles, I think you can get the W. I'll be real with you. And I'll be giving my predictions, all that. And I'm not just giving that all to you in this video here. But I am letting you know, I definitely think we can beat these guys. But I'll give you my score predictions, how we can beat them, all that great stuff throughout the week. But, dude, oh, my God, we're seriously talking about a matchup this Sunday. Yes. So thank you for taking the time on this beautiful Monday night. Hope you guys are all starting your week off just right. If you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out to me, whether it's talk about some football, whether it's talk about life, whatever. You guys need a guest for your show, please feel free. Always happy to come on. To those of you who have, and I told I would get back to you. If I haven't, get back to me again, because it has been complete insanity these last couple of weeks getting ready for this. But still a little wild. Times are a little wild, but I always try to make time for you guys, as you always make time for me. So I appreciate you. Hope you're all having a great night. Bro, you're fired up. Let's go. I'm ready as hell, dude. I'll be real with you. There are plenty of videos out there that we got through this offseason where everybody was telling us we sucked. We couldn't do this. We got Jalen Hurts highlight videos. We've got Jalen Reagor. Everybody. I made a video a few months ago. Are people really giving up on Reagor? Lots of content out there trying to bring the diehards together and show these other fans that not everybody gives up on their birds when it looks tough. It's bleed green until I die, win, lose, or tie. Just doesn't matter. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for taking the time to Trill for Phil. Man, you're awesome, dude. Hope you're subscribing. You tune in every day, because we've been doing it every day in the offseason. Just imagine how nuts it's going to be when the season begins. Oh, yes. And if you guys are going to be there, Week 2, I will be there against the San Francisco 49ers. Hope to meet a lot of you guys. Hope to see you guys again for the first time in years. I cannot wait. You know I'll be going insane. I'll probably have a heart attack, lose my voice. Don't care. I'll turn into RoboCop, get a fake voice. I don't give a shit. I'll be sitting here talking like I'm Chappie. Woo! I don't care. I just can't wait for my Eagles football. I can't wait. Now I just need to go to bed. Somebody knock me out till Sunday because, go Birds. You know it. It's coming. You know it's coming. Been seeing a lot of people saying the catchphrase. It brings joy to my heart. It truly does. Let's spread that, baby. Let's spread that. But I am going to get rolling. You guys, Carlos, Dante, Bird Gang, Malcolm, who else? Two Trill Phil, all of you guys. It was a pleasure. Houdini. I like that. That's fantastic. I like that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, hit that subscribe button if you're into talking Eagles every single day, and join me tomorrow because, well, it's another day closer to Philadelphia Eagles football. All right, guys, I'm going to go before I have a heart attack talking about the Birds. But that's if I'm going out, that's the way I want to go out. So, all right, guys, thank you for taking the time. Have yourselves a great night. And as always, go Birds!